The iPhone 16e must be one of the most misunderstood devices in Apple's current lineup. If you listen to the haters, and there are still plenty, they'll have you believe that it's nothing more than a second-hand parts bin. In reality, when you start to use the 16e, you quickly realise that it actually shares a lot of the same features of the more expensive iPhones. So in this video, I want to show you what great value the iPhone 16e is, what features it shares with those more expensive iPhones, and how much you can get done day to day with your 16e. And all of that without breaking the bank. I'm David, and in this video, we are talking about the iPhone 16e. The iPhone 16e is just under 1 year old. I bought mine on the weekend of release, and it is a great phone. It's the cheapest way to buy a new iPhone to become part of the Apple ecosystem. Now, Apple is never going to be the cheapest. That's not why we buy an iPhone. We buy an iPhone because it's got that quality assurance. If you buy a 16e, you get the same quality build that you get with any other new iPhone. And of course, also, when you buy a 16e, or any Apple device come to that, you get the peace of mind that you can walk into a physical store on a high street and speak to an actual person to help sort those problems out for you. I don't use my iPhone 16e every day, but the times I pick it up, it does its job so well. It never feels a sub-premium phone. And it's quick because it's got the A18 chip in there. And it's important to remember that A18 chip was first saw in the 16 and 16 Plus, that it's Apple Intelligence ready. Now, I think the days of laughing when we mention Apple Intelligence are hopefully behind us now. And if rumors are to be believed, later this year, we're going to get a complete rework of Siri. It's going to become a conversation-based chatbot. And of course, your iPhone 16e will be able to run that. And last year, we got iOS 26. Apple had a new vision of the way they wanted to look at OS, a new vision of how they thought it should run on these phones. It looks great and it works great. And all of that works just as well on your 16e as it would on any other iPhone. I mentioned at the top of the video that it's got some similarities with the more expensive iPhones, and it's got more similarities than you might think. Let's look at the display to start with. Bear with me, it has got similarities. It's got a Super Retina XDR display, a True Tone display, and P3 wide color as well. It shares the same SOS features that you get on any of the other new iPhones. So you get emergency SOS via satellite, crash detection, and roadside assistance. You get main 48 megapixel camera on there, the same 6-core CPU and 16-core neural engine. You get the same waterproofing IP68 rating. You get the action button. You get Face ID and Find My. Okay, it's not precision Find My, but you still get Find My. All of those features on this 16e, this so-called parts bin, they're exactly the same as if you went out and bought a 17 Pro or Pro Max. So who would choose an iPhone 16e? Who's the person that's going to go into the store to buy a 16e? I think I've just proven to you that it's not a substitute phone. It's not a cheap hand-me-down phone. It's a great phone by itself. You make the decision to go and buy a 16e because you know it's honestly going to suit your needs with all of those assurances that I've mentioned before about being an Apple device. The iPhone Air, it's gorgeous, but it's a lot more expensive. The Pro and Pro Max, again, full of features that a lot of people will never use or will ever want to use. And those phones also, the Pro and Pro Max, are heavier and bulkier. It's not what a lot of people want. Remember the 13 mini? Everyone talks about that being one of the best iPhones ever. Well, in so many ways, the 16e kind of harks back to those days. It's simple, it's efficient, and it's got packed in there everything you actually need to use your phone for. Before sitting down to make this video, I kind of thought, well, what do I use my phone for every single day? If I put away all the gloss, what do I genuinely use my iPhone for? I use it for CarPlay all the time, podcast, music app, all of that, of course, is fine on the 16e. I use it for navigation, either in the car or when I'm walking around London. Reminders and all the other apps that I use day to day. Those are the things that I use my iPhone for every single day. And I can do all of those just as well on the iPhone 16e as I could do on any other iPhone. And there's one thing that it does so much better than any other iPhone, and that's the battery life. It lasts for days and days. Now, I've mentioned before that the iPhone Air, I don't think it's got a problem with battery life, but this is another level. This can easily go a couple of days without charge. And I think that's because of the point that Apple have always wanted to get to, that they're in control of everything inside of here. We've got the C1 Modem. I think I'm right in saying that was the first phone to ever feature their own modem. And of course, it's got the A18 chip in there as well, and their new OS. So suddenly they're in charge of everything that makes the phone work, which is why we're seeing the battery life on these phones get so much better. It's because Apple are fully in charge. And the call quality on this phone, because of that C1 modem, is stellar. You might have seen a video that I made last year where I took the 16e on a road trip. Not only did it last that trip really, really well and performed doing everything I could possibly have asked for it so well, but the battery lasted forever and the call quality was great. One of the other things, of course, that I use my phone, and I'm sure you do the same, every day is the camera. No, the camera's not as good as the camera setup that you get on the 17 Pro or Pro Max, but I'm willing to bet that most of the people that are using those 17 Pros and Pro Maxes aren't using the camera setup to its fullest advantage. We don't all try to take award-winning pictures every time we pick up an iPhone. The cameras on these phones are there to create memories with friends, family, holidays, days out, pets. And the camera on the 16E does that. And you get a 2x telly as well. The camera, again, isn't a negative for this phone. As far as I'm concerned, for the price point, it's a real positive. This 16E will do everything you need a phone to do every single day, but without the bloat. And of course, it also means you're now in the Apple ecosystem, and that is huge. Everything just works seamlessly, by and large, faultlessly as well in the Apple ecosystem. If you've got HomePods, it works with them. If you are using your iPad, say you've been saving documents into the downloads folder, like I've been showing you recently on the iPad videos I've been making, well, that will work just as well when you go to pick up your iPhone. All of those documents will be on the download folder on your iPhone. Just because it's 16E, it doesn't make any difference. You're buying into the same Apple ecosystem that any other iPhone user has access to. And all of that at a budget price. Now, Apple Intelligence finally is beginning to make a difference. I don't quite know how far we're going to get this year, but if those promises of a new Siri are anything to be believed, I think this is going to be another great year for Apple. And if you've gone out and bought an iPhone 16E, you are in as good a position as any other iPhone user to take full advantage of it. Of course, there are a few things on the wish list that I would like to see come to the 16E. Now, I understand that probably most of these things have been omitted because it's built to a cost point. So I understand there are basic economics involved. It'd be lovely if we had a quick MagSafe charging system on there. I do miss MagSafe. Yes, you can go and buy cases, but I'm a case-free kind of person most of the time. So it'd be great if we could see MagSafe on there. Now, something I didn't think I'd be wanting is a super wide-angle camera lens. Until late last year, I didn't really ever use the wide-angle camera lens that much, but I then began to see the benefit of some of the wonderful angles you could get using wide-angle lenses. So maybe I prefer to see that as the option rather than a 2x telly. Obviously, it'd be lovely to have both, but if we had to have one or the other because of price, maybe I'd go for the super wide angle. Dynamic Island, I'm using that more and more now that I'm flying more, on trains more. Dynamic Island is actually kind of useful. Precision Find My, it's always a tick. Wouldn't be high of the list, but it'd be nice if we could have it. But let's remember, as I said, that this phone primarily is built to a price point to make sure that everybody can go and buy a brand new iPhone today and have access to the Apple ecosystem. Now, if you're thinking of buying a 16E and you're thinking of holding back, let me just warn you that I believe there's going to be a new schedule to how iPhones are released as of this year. We're not expecting any iPhones to be released in the spring of this year, which has happened in the past few years. In September, the big iPhone event, we're going to get the premium phones, the 18 Pro, Pro Max, the new iPhone Air, and we think the new foldable iPhone. That's all going to come in September. It won't be until the spring of next year, in 2027, that we're going to be getting the replacement for the 16E, presumably the 17E, and also the iPhone 18. So there's a long time to wait. So if you're thinking that you fancy a 16E with all the benefits that I've shown you this phone brings, but you're thinking of holding back, don't. There is no point in holding back. You may as well go and buy it today, because if all the stories and all the rumours are true that we're hearing, there is not going to be a spring release, and certainly not a replacement for the 16E for at least another year. I mentioned before that it kind of reminds me of the 30 Mini. That was the perfect iPhone. And why do people like it so much? Because it just did the job that you needed it to do, day in, day out, without any bloat, without any distractions. And the iPhone 16E does that. I don't understand why so many people come down so hard on it. And also, for £599, you're future-proofed. This is as up-to-date as you can get, and you get all the benefits, as I mentioned before, of any other iPhone user when you buy an iPhone 16E. The iPhone 16E is for a person that just wants the benefit of an iPhone, but without the bloat and the price of the more expensive phones. It's a good phone. Hopefully you've enjoyed my revisit on the iPhone 16E. I believe in it passionately, and if you're enjoying these videos, I really do need your help. You've been great recently in subscribing. I'm trying to involve you more and more and more in this channel with weekly community posts and making shorts as well. So if you're enjoying the content and the relaxed way that we sit and talk about everything Apple every single week, Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, maybe tell a friend or two if you think somebody else might like this content as well. Also, get involved with the channel. We've got our own Discord server as well, and a members newsletter, which I send out free of charge, a video newsletter every single week. Goes out Sunday, 2 o'clock. All you need to do is leave me your contact details on my website, talkingtechandaudio.com, and you'll receive that video newsletter where I talk about all sorts of things that are going on behind the scenes that might just interest you. So get involved with the channel. Let's make this our channel. Now, it's been a while since I made a video about the 16E, but now I'm going to let you watch one of the videos I made last year, where I took that 16E out on a road trip.